And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. Lily's back! That's what happened last episode, and she is taking us to our summer house. Or taking us to her summer house, or her family's summer house. And the biggest thing apparently is we're going to be dusting, but she is helping Hanako beat us in poker. I'm watching you. I'm watching you, Lily. I've been bluffing, and she's caught me. Hanging my head, I push over a large portion of my winnings. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lily keeps her attentions focused on her reading material, I can see the smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment I try to work out what Lily's reading, but the cover is too faded to read beyond the fact that Roman letters are on it. A pity I can't read the braille above the printed title. What are you reading, Lily? The title looks like it's in English. That's right, and it's And Then There Were None, an old British story. I could read it to you if you'd like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. I think I'll pass, thanks. Oh man, that would have been a perfect opportunity. If she's gonna, you know, poke at us, we should poke back. It's like, oh yes, please. Just put your hand on your cheek and lean in. Yeah, oh, I know. I can be smooth sometimes. Or incredibly awkward. More likely awkward, but that's just how I am. After a seemingly endless trip, we finally reach the promised land of the Hisao summer house. Even after the train trip, the walk up seems to take forever. Despite my grumbling, though, I'd have never guessed the sight that would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. It looks like a nice little Japanese summer home. It's got sort of an American feel to it, though. I don't actually, that's the thing, is, like, I don't know, like, if these background images, which clearly are stock images, they're not stock images, or, like, someone in the development team went out and took pictures, and then they just sort of modified it with pastel-y sort of filtering. I wonder if, like, they actually are, like, places in Japan, or actually just, you know, somewhere in North America. It looks more like a farmhouse than the everyday house I'd imagined, small in size and surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farming lands can be seen as we walk up, the fencing only consisting of rickety old wooden planks. It really drives home how far we are from the major cities, and is a sight that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. Jeez, they're using so many, like, large words that is sort of weird for a high school student to use. I mean, it's one thing, like, I'm stumbling, and I know quite a few words myself, but I never describe the environment as antithetical. You know? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad word or anything like that. It's just, it's very odd. It's like you use the thesaurus a little too much. I've always labeled it as that. It's sort of like a high school writer, like someone that's writing in high school, and I'm totally a criminal of this, but I would write my my essay, or I'd write my short story, and I would go into Word and I'd right click and look through the thesaurus options for certain words, just to make it more bloated in a sense. Like, and I'm fairly sure my DeviantArt page is out there somewhere with a bunch of my old stories on it. Heaven forbid. Maybe I should do, as like an April Fool's thing, I should like read one of those stories or something and cringe at how bad they are. Oh god. Actually, that'd be a great video for my Canadian, like my abridging channel. I'm sure people would love that. But I don't know. You guys can write in the comments below if you think that that would be a silly, dumb thing to do. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is its Western styling. Oh, okay. Okay, I get it. To hide the fact that they took a picture of a Western style house is that they're just like, it has a Western style. And because Lily and her mom is from Scotland, winky face. It doesn't have like a European look to it. No, it's definitely Western. Wow, it's amazing out here.
It's wonderful. That's nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she kept the house in reasonable condition, I was worried that we might have different standards of reasonable.
It looks like there isn't another soul for miles. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lily furrows her brow in thought, seemingly recalling almost forgotten knowledge.
From memories, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just an old farmhouse. Akira and I stayed in our parents' house, which was in the nearest city for a while, but after they left, we decided to move into a smaller, more easily maintainable house.
To find a place like this in Japan nowadays, it's kind of anachronistic? Jesus! How old is Hisao? Like, holy garbo. And I just use the word garbo, for Christ's sakes. Anachronistic. Jesus, like, I know what it means. It's just, I never used that word when I was 18. Jesus.
Well, this town does have quite a bit of history.
I looked down the street one last time before getting back to the task at hand. Shall we go in then? I'm parched.
It was a long walk to get here.
Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, the three of us lugging our bags into the house. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, taking in every detail of where we'll all be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another's life stopped mid-motion are around the house, such as the television guide laying beside the counter it was on, and the pans in the adjoined kitchen still sitting on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we were stepping into Akira's life for a brief moment before leaving in a couple of days, just as we'd come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hasn't cleaned up after herself that well. Now, obviously, this story is in the first person, and I actually give more of a pass to his inner thoughts. Just due to the fact that it's one of those things that in your head, and like this can just be said in life in general, is you have a way of thinking about something, and you have it all worked out in your head, and then you open your mouth, and then like vomit and diarrhea comes out, like word vomit just comes out, and you're just like, I just butchered that thing that I was thinking of. So I'm okay with his thought process being a lot more complicated for his age, because that's just like a natural thing that we do in our heads, right? But yeah, like I said, like when I have this thought, I know how to articulate it, and then I actually speak it, and then it just comes out and just sort of like I said, word vomit, like it's just sort of. See, now I'm stumbling on what I was about to think about, or about to say what I was thinking about it. Never mind. Where should we put our bags?
I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours here if you like.
You mean I don't have the same bedroom as you two? Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes her cheek in her hand.
Oh my, how bold.
You two. Hold on, if I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? Okay. Alright, so you can use a word like anachronistic, but you can't muster the look around the room to the giant futon behind them? Come on, man. Oh, is futon out of your vocabulary range? Oh my god.
Well, seeing as we lack a guest bedroom.
The convertible futon, huh? Yeah, so someone has been pointing out that I've been saying huh with like a question mark, and now obviously that is technically a question in this case, but it's what people in America do versus what Canadians do. So like this in a sense is it's not really a question, it's just sort of like a declaration. Is I would use a. That's what we do here. Like I would say the convertible futon, eh? Like that, right? So I'm declaring that I'm just like I'm inquisiting to the fact that that's what you meant, and that's probably why because I say a, I sometimes go up. It's also part of it's a part of an Ottawa Valley thing. Like, in the place that I live, we have sort of an upspeak to us. So sometimes things sound like questions when they're actually not questions. I just wanted to address it because someone in the comments has been mentioning it and that it's been bothering them. And I'm like, I could try my best to fix it, but this is just sort of where I am with it. A convertible futon, huh? Sorry, Hisao. A sigh, lament of my place on the bottom rung of sleeping locations priorities. I guess there's no other choice. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom, so I take a small tour of my surroundings after I drop my bag on the floor. The kitchen, just like the living room, is fairly modest. The rustic nature of the wooden furnishings drives home just how far we are from civilization. I don't know about you, but that looks really nice and not very rustic. Like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't. It doesn't look that bad. I wish my kitchen looks like that. Returning to the living room, I decide to try out the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, it immediately flickers to life, apparently set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch. And watch. And watch. And I fell asleep. Good job, Sal.
Sal?
Oh, holy crap. Oh dear. I quickly blink to wake myself up, Lily and Hanako having returned minus their bags. From the Hokkaido night sky visible outside the windows, it looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking to the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10.
You found the television, then?
Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here.
I'm glad you like it. You were already out like a light when we came back after unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner.
Judging from her giggle, I must sound funny when I sleep. I swiftly decide not to inquire. Have they drawn on my face? They probably drew on my face.
There's some dinner waiting for you in the kitchen.
Hanako gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. My, are you tired?
I didn't get much sleep last night.
I'm pretty tired too. It was a long walk up here, and it's getting late. He actually has to be careful. Like long walks, especially uphill. Like for a normal person, you're like, oh man, I just walked up that hill, and my cardio isn't so good, so I'm winded. But that can be a huge strain on his heart if he's not careful.
If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hisao.
Good night. Night. With that, they quickly turn and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. I suppose I'll eat something and watch some more TV quietly before going to bed. I wonder who cooked. Probably Lily. Because I think she actually stated that Hanako can't really cook that well.
Is he still sleeping?
I think so. I'm not. I am, however, incredibly tired.
It's getting late in the morning.
I know that.
He likely stayed up to watch television. I could hear it from our bedroom.
Only because I couldn't get to sleep.
Should we wake him?
Don't do that, Hanako. Please.
No, we should leave him. I doubt he'd want to be woken up early if he didn't get much sleep during the night.
Thank you, Lily.
Besides, he sounds so peaceful. It would be a shame to wake him when he's like this.
Keep a straight face, Hisao. It is nice she cares so much, though.
Hanako, could you go to the fridge and fish out what's needed to make lunch? All right, just the vegetables and rice?
That should be enough. We only need something simple, as we can eat in town later. Hanako's footsteps on the carpeted floor can be heard, moving away from the living room. As they do, I feel Lily's hand gently rest on my chest. It takes a titanic effort not to react. Just something about her makes me think she knows I'm awake, as a long silence passes.
The only thoughts in my mind is of that gentle, outstretched hand laying upon my chest. After an indescribable, indiscernible, an indiscernible amount of time, Lily withdraws her hand. Good morning, Hisao. Conceding defeat all too easily, I prop myself up and rub my eyes. How'd you know? Your breathing was off. Well, that makes sense. She couldn't have needed that long to work it out. Knowing her hearing, she likely knew before laying her hand on me. If you want to sleep more, you should really go to bed earlier. I heard the television going long into the night. Sorry about that. My medications have been interfering with my sleep for a while now. Even if I'm tired, I have trouble actually sleeping. I'm sorry to bring it up, Hisao. I sigh. This is exactly the kind of thing I wish others wouldn't do. Wait, no, don't wave her off. We should address that. I don't see why addressing it. Like, the only thing that I'm sort of concerned about is, like, wave her off means, like, don't worry about it. And she's already told us that I should lean on them, right? That's how I would interpret this. You know, by waving her off, you're dodging the issue and you're sort of putting a rift between her, right? Whereas if you address it, then it's like an important step. Now, I'm afraid that maybe addressing it will be like addressing the fact that I don't want to talk about it. You should figure that out. Like, I hope that's not the way that we go, but I think I'm going to address it. I think that's important. Come on, you worry about me more than I do at times. It just means I have to sleep a bit longer, that's all. But still, I'd say that I look absolutely fine, but I guess that wouldn't have a lot of meaning for you. She gives a sigh of consternation before trailing off with an amused chuckle, giving up the point. If you say so, please do take care of yourself, Hisao. Go on, Hanako could use some help. She moves to protest, but reluctantly acquiesces and disappears into the kitchen, her hands running along the smooth white walls as she slowly walks. For a while I sit and watch television in an attempt to wake myself up a little more, but it's futile. I don't have anything better to do, so I follow Lily's lead. As I round the corner, I see Hanako and Lily, backs turned, quietly cutting food on the granite-colored counters. I am temporarily engrossed as I watch Lily guide the knife down carefully, with a finger on the cabbage she's cutting. Each slice delivered slowly, but with precision. She seems a little slow, but considering that she can't see what she is doing, it's a small wonder she can cook at all, let alone for both her and Hanako. Hi, Hanako. Lily? Want any help? Is that Hisao? Oh, morning, Hisao. Oh, Jesus. Did she cut herself? Oh, no. Oh. Lily jerks back in surprise before turning around, her yelp immediately drawing Hanako and me to her side. A small trickle of scarlet falls downwards from her pale fingertip, the knife having cut just deep enough to draw blood. With the television sound masking my footsteps, she must not have noticed me coming. To compensate for having to use touch to guide everything she does during cooking, she must need to pay extra attention. Lily! Don't worry, Hanako. It's just a small wound. You should still get a band-aid on it, at least until it stops bleeding. First aid stuff would be in the bathroom, right? I think so. Will you be okay here, Hanako? I frown at how little heed she's paying to herself as Hanako gives a quick, almost automatic nod. It's fine. I can keep making lunch. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and box of band-aids on the side of the sink, lily fingers held out for me to treat. The lid of the bottle comes off in with minimum of resistance, and a small ball of cotton I soaked in liquid stains a pale green. Okay, hold still. It's probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod and takes hold of her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line. Ah! What? I barely touched it. Sorry.
I give a sigh, both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is startlingly low. Yeah, well, you have to remember that her fingers are her lifeline, right? And because her senses are heightened because she doesn't have her eyesight, her fingers are very, very delicate and sensitive. It's sort of like you could poke someone in the shoulder, right? And you get like you still get a reaction. It still hurts. But if you were to like poke them in the stomach, it has a different feeling, and it sort of gives a more jerked reaction to it, right? It's like when they talk about things like kidney punches and that type of things. Like, you don't want that. That's not good because they're sensitive areas on our body. So just imagine her sense of touch, and the nerves on her fingers would be far more sensitive to all types of pain and sensory. But with that, we'll fix up Lily's finger a little bit tomorrow. So take care, guys. Stay frosty. I'll see you tomorrow.